I don't want to sound harsh, but what was the first thing that comes to your mind when you mention Namco? Or Bandai Namco? Or Bamco? The answer is most likely Tekken or Soul Calibur. While series like Time Crisis, Ace Combat, Ridge Racer, and Klonoa, by the way we need a new Klonoa game, are just afterthoughts. Ace Combat is another of those franchises that no one talks about. On paper, it may be your typical air combat game, but there's more than that. It's full of awesome soundtrack, deep storyline, and memorable characters, etc. Originally released in 1993 in arcade before landing its way onto the Sony PlayStation in 1995, Ace Combat went on to release multiple titles across different generations of console, and was well received by many fans. Perhaps one day I will do a series detailing this game and talking about how great those games are. Anyway, back to today's topic. Like I said, there are Ace Combat games whether on console or handheld devices, which some of them are games that you can never touch. I will talk about 3 of them, so get ready to take off into the blue sky. In 2007, when the iPhone was newly released, no one knew the potential as it was something that no one ever came across. So much thing can be added into this tiny device, and one of them is gaming. So many developers, whether AAA or indie, tried their hands on this device, and we would witness a plethora of titles that would become iconic eventually. First up, Ace Combat XI Skies of Incursion, released on December 3rd, 2009. Ace Combat XI is a prequel to Ace Combat X Skies of Deception, released 3 years earlier on Sony PSP. The story takes place in the year 2020. Yeah, what a year to be alive. In which Democratic Republic of Lazath launched an all-out invasion onto Federal Republic of Aurelia, and managed to seize 60% of that country's resources. In response, Falco Squadron, which consists of 3 members, was sent to stop the impending forces. Unfortunately, Lazath forces deploy an ultimate weapon, an airborne fortress that annihilate most of Aurelia forces, that causes them to retreat, and in the end, the Falco Squad was disbanded despite their achievement. And that's when Ace Combat X continued to pick up the story. But anyway, back to the main topic. Being a prequel to the main game, you can obviously see lots of similarities. Whether it's the graphics, UI, soundtrack, you will be very familiar with the game as a whole. For a game that released in 2009, the graphics sure didn't hold up well by today's standard, but I'm still impressed they were able to pull it off to make this game, especially on small devices with lots of limitation. The controls are pretty straightforward considering it's on a phone. You can either tilt or use touch screen to control the plane, which are very easy when you get the hang of it, regardless of which option you choose. The on-screen buttons are self-explanatory too. You got your guns, missile, throttle, brake, target where you switch and look at target, and autopilot. All of these are no strangers for any nuggets that play any of the Ace Combat games. I'm glad they stick to the core of the game to make it forgiving for new players, instead of just making something much worse and controversial. There are only 2 game modes: campaign where you progress through the story, and free mission where you replay any mission that you have completed. There are a total of 3 difficulties that affect how much damage you can take and how aggressive the AI can be. Gameplay wise, it's simple. Blow up enemy, protect allied forces, blow up enemy, protect allied forces while keeping yourself alive. You know, like a traditional Ace Combat game. Like I said earlier, the game runs on a small device, and of course the budget is pretty low, so don't be surprised if you hear familiar voices from games like Ace Combat 5. There are a total of 18 planes that you can unlock, with the first 3 being available from the get-go. As for the others, well, you just have to... you know the drill. There are a total of 9 missions that end quickly, and it's a fair deal because remember what you're playing on. They never try anything risky, and I'm fine with it. Upon beating the game, there really isn't anything else to do, so the game could be just there to pass your time and also adds a little lore to the game's story. Overall, a pretty solid entry in the Ace Combat series that you can take on the go, well before emulator exists. However, as time goes on, so does the iOS. With new versions keep coming out, some apps or games definitely won't work properly. Ace Combat XI is no exception. On devices like iOS 7 and 8, save files stop working, and more bugs appear with newer version. Remember, this game was just compatible between iOS 3 and 6. Which brings me to the inevitable. On March 30th, 2015, Ace Combat XI was delisted from App Store. You can no longer download the game or even access the in-app purchases. Since the game was never released on Android device, that means you can never download the game from third party. In addition, you need iOS version between 3 and 6, like I mentioned earlier, to even run the game, and those devices are practically impossible to find, let alone trying to find one with the game included. It's like trying to find that one player in Test Drive Unlimited. It's never gonna work. In the end, this game went MIA and becomes a distant memories. Next up, Ace Combat Assault Horizon Trigger Finger released on September 21st, 2010 on iTunes for iOS device. A really weird slash gimmicky game where instead of flying around to defeat enemy, you fly around to defeat your friend? Unfortunately, due to this game being really rare, there really wasn't any footage online. All I found was just some screenshot about the game, and I'm not quite sure what does those even mean. So I'm gonna try to give my best assumption. Remember when you make paper planes and then fly around to see how far it could go? Remember when you make paper planes so that you can fight with your friend? You know, like a toy figure or something? Well, I guess that works here. You and your friend pick your plane, and both of you hold your phone upright, and then you start battling by moving your plane to dodge enemy attack, and then fire your guns and missile to hit him back. Excuse me, what? Here comes the snow! Those who survive a long time on the battlefield start to think they're invincible. I bet you do too, buddy. Can you see any borders from here? What has borders given us? We're gonna start over from scratch. That's what E2 is for. It's pretty ironic, buddy. A couple of dogs like us fighting the last battle. There's no mercy in war. People live and people die. That's all there is to it. You fire up? Come shoot me down. You and I are opposite sides of the same coin. Looks like we both still got what it takes. Fire away, coward! Come on! Come on! I don't understand what even is this point of this thing. Oh yeah, this game also comes with an early trailer for Assault Horizon that will be released the following year. But either way, if you fancy yourself playing with paper plane but doesn't know how to make one, well, this one is for you. You know, if you would like to just take your phone and just fly around like a figure or something, then this one's for you. Oh wait, you can't. As we enter the 2010s, the gaming industry also changed. From premium games to free-to-play games, especially multiplayer ones, are slowly becoming free. Lots of games start hating for that approach, and in 2014, Ace Combat did the same thing